Congress is currently debating a set of 12 bills that will fund the federal government in 2025. The funding contains over $30 billion earmarked. None of these bills have yet been signed into law. A good amount of that money, though, has been requested for the state of Maryland. Here with more details, Jeremy Portnoy, an investigative journalist with OpenTheBooks.com. Good morning to you, Jeremy.
Good morning, Taylor. How are you?
I'm doing well. Let's talk about earmark funding. So we'll talk about the money that's allocated to Maryland, but first, let's jump into what earmarks do and how they bring a lot of federal funds to Maryland projects. But there are some critics for the practice. Tell us a bit about what's going on here.
Well, if you've ever heard of pork barrel spending or the currency of corruption, those are all names for earmarks. In the past, you've seen politicians basically earmark these funds for special interest groups to pretty much try and buy votes from them. So Obama and Senator Tom Coburn helped ban them for 10 years. They came back a few years ago, and we're still having some issues with transparency. It took us hours to convert all the Senate's blurry PDFs into Excel files so we could actually figure out how many earmarks are in these spending bills.
So how many earmarks were you guys able to find that have been allocated for Maryland? What was that request like this year?
So in the Senate, Maryland's got 139 earmarks worth $161 million. That's right around average for the rest of the country. Then in the House, you've got Representative Mfume. He actually requested the least money out of all of Maryland's representatives. He's asked for some money for the local parks, new police department, nothing crazy. Dutch Ruppersberger, also towards the low end of the spectrum, asking for money for construction at Martin State Airport, a few other initiatives. You
said there are some that are a bit questionable. Can you kind of dive into some of the ones that are raising eyebrows a bit?
Yeah, that's where the problems come in. So in the Senate, you've got a $200,000 request to support local games of squash. I mean, I don't know how to play squash. I don't know if you do. There's $429,000 to build a Horses Helping People Center where they're going to offer equine-assisted therapy, which, I mean, might be fun, but again, there's probably better uses for our taxpayer dollars out there.
I see. So give us a picture here. Are congressional earmarks, are those requests larger this year on a grand scale or spending going down?
Yeah, it's larger both ways. Maryland's request is up by about $50 million. And then if you look at the request for all of Congress, they requested $31 billion, which if that passes, that's going to be the largest we've seen in a long time, possibly ever. Now, the dollar total is going to go down, but last year they only passed $16 billion. So we're definitely seeing an increase there. We're seeing individual earmarks worth almost $500 million, which would be a record for American history. So we'll keep an eye on this over the next few months and see what gets passed.
And this is all taxpayer dollars. We'll have to keep our eyes on this. Thank you, Jeremy, for staying on it with Open the Books. We'll continue to check back in.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.